Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, in liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome to everybody in the audience and online for the first meeting of the Ramsey County Commission for June. First item on the agenda would be the approval of the minutes from the May meeting.
Move to approve.
Second them.
Motion and a second to approve the May 21st, 2024 minutes as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Bills. Anybody have any questions on the bills as they were presented?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bills as presented. Roll call, please.
Volk,
Aye.
Wilhelmy,
Aye.
Gessner,
Aye.
Hodis,
Aye.
Aye. Bills are paid. Financial reports.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the financial reports as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Gessner,
Aye.
Volk,
Aye.
Hodis,
Aye.
Wilhelmy,
Aye.
Aye. Financial reports are approved. Treasurer's checks.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second to approve the treasurer's checks?
A second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the treasurer's checks as presented. Roll call, please.
Hodis,
Aye.
Volk,
Aye.
Gessner,
Aye.
Wilhelmy,
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approval of the agenda. Any additions to the agenda?
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Agenda's approved. Sarah Lighty, Ramsey County Extension Office. Good morning.
Oh, you got to press the little button.
Okay. Good morning. Just thought I better give you a little update on some of our summer activities going on. We actually just finished up with a farm safety camp last week in Devil's Lake. That was the first one that was held in our area, which was kind of exciting. We had 16 kids. It was a full camp. Lots of learning. They were very busy. It's very important information that's needed. Just got an email from our farm safety coordinator last night. There was a child that was injured southeast part of our state. I believe it was not good. So this is very important information that we need to continue putting out there. We've got our babysitting and home alone classes going on this week. All of those classes are full. So those will be happening starting tomorrow downstairs in the large meeting room, and then as well as Thursday. We're starting our farm visits today for our 4-Hers. I believe we're visiting a llama, so it's kind of an exciting time of year. Our 4-Hers have the opportunity for a farm visit instead of the farm record books. So we're going to be busy with that. Our achievement days start up June 22nd with the horse show. That's a Saturday, and that'll be held out at the Peterson Arena. Our Lake Region Livestock Expo will be Thursday, June 27th. That'll be another full day out at the Peterson Arena. Just wanted to let you know that the Ramsey County Fair Board, they're going to kind of extend the expo event with a footprint fun night on Friday, June 28th from 5 to 7. A local band, Auto Drive, will be performing. So it's just an event for people to get out to the fairgrounds and see what's happening. They are starting with the whole process of the addition. So a lot of stuff going on out there. July 9th and 10th will be our static events of the Achievement Days. So there'll be a lot of stuff happening over in the Memorial Building. And that will be open to the public. So we're hoping to get a lot of people in and out to check out those events. Also, just a thought from our office. It would be kind of nice to have maybe some training or something on the new AV equipment. We use that a lot, and we've had some issues trying to get connected, and I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, but it would just be nice to be have just some troubleshooting ideas. Okay.
I did talk to Steve about that and coming up with a step-by-step guide on turning things on, especially when he's not here or not available. Kind of troubleshooting ideas for the audio equipment, not only for the basement meeting rooms, but also the armory as well. I know you guys have a lot of events over there, and one of the things that we wanted to look at.
Okay, perfect.
That's all working.
Does anybody have any questions about anything that we have coming up? Or I know Lindsay's going to be heading out, checking out all the land, visiting with farmers about how the rain's going to be affecting everybody and how crops are going. So we'll get there. She was very integral in the farm safety camp, so she's been a busy extension agent, that's for sure.
How many participants did you have in the farm safety class?
They actually cap it at 16. They want small classes so that it's very hands-on, very hands-on. A lot of partners, ATV safety, they're not just driving tractors anymore, which they are, but there's so much more that goes on these operations these days. So, they were going from 7 in the morning till 10 p.m. each day. So it was good. Yeah.
Good.
You still offer the ATV camp?
We do. Yes. That one is full as well. That one's coming up here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. With that too, the kids drive a course, and then they do get a helmet that fits them to a T. So.
You need to have a driver's license for that? What's
No.
the age limit?
You don't have to have your driver's license, and you don't have to have a permit. So I'll check on that. Bill. Mm-hmm.
To take the course.
Correct. To take the course.
If you're driving the streets, you gotta have a license.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of other rules that you need to.
Just so they don't mix that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll come back and say, well, the commission said.
Right. To take the course. Okay.
Anything else, Sarah?
Nope. That's all I have.
Anybody else have anything else for Sarah?
Nope.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Would you mind grabbing the water guys across the hall, please? Let them know that they're welcome to come in. Next up on the agenda would be the Ramsey County Water Resource District. I believe their chairman, Dwayne Ash, will be over shortly. And we can get an update on everything that's going on in the water world. Come on in, Dwayne.
Good morning, fellas
Good morning.
and ladies. our meeting today is kind of hit and miss. We're going over a lot of old business on our drain project that we got going, Ramsey County 10. And we're trying to work out issues so that we can get it presented to the people for a vote. And we're going to have another meeting today. And we got a water complaint that we've been dealing with for years, and we're getting closer to, I think, to a final decision on how to handle that with Brian Schwan. It just keeps coming back every time. And we've done just about as much as we can, but we're trying to please the people. But I'll tell you what, if you go up north, you cannot leave all the water that's up there that's headed this way. The coulees are full right up to the edge of the top of the culverts, but nothing's going over the road, so we're pretty good there yet. But other than that, it's not much going on that can really report on. If you got any questions or
The Ramsey County Drain 10 project, Dwayne, that vote was delayed.
that was delayed because there were some errors, and so we just canceled it completely, and we're gonna put it out again. But we got to have our public meetings and go through the whole paperwork or the whole process that we've been through once or twice before.
Still required to go through the motions and
Yep.
take it to the vote.
Yep.
And wanted to make sure that people are aware of that it didn't, the vote wasn't counted. Petitions or the ballots were not
Yeah.
looked at.
I got one complaint. The guy, when the ballots come in, we just destroyed them.
Yeah.
Didn't never open them or anything. And one guy says, "Well, I stuck a power of attorney and my mother in there." And he said, "I'd like that copy back." And he says, "If you guys destroyed everything, how can I get it back?" Well, I said, "I hope you made a copy of it."
Yeah.
But I mean, there are issues, but we're working our way through them.
Yep. To make sure that it was
Yeah.
clear and transparent, that
Yep.
things weren't counted and then disregarded and come back to a vote.
Mm.
Everything was destroyed before looking at it, and affidavit signed upon that, stating that and witnessed and all that kind of
Yep.
good stuff. So I think they did it right and they did it by the book, and
Yep.
it'll move forward. So
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be when we do it this time, everything is going to be up to snuff the way it should be. It may take a little bit longer, but at least it's going to be done right. And that's it.
anything else for Dwayne? Any questions?
Thank you, and see you next month.
Thanks. We still have some time for before the county equalization meeting. Mr. Halverson, City of Devils Lake. Welcome.
Chairman Frith, members of the commission, against Mr. Alverson with the City of Devils Lake. I'll be really brief. I just want to give you a status update on some of the discussions we've been having regarding the governance structure of the Devils Lake Airport. We had some conversation with the FAA. Got an idea of what their requirements would be if there was a change in the sponsor, and if a change in airport sponsor was pursued. Anything that we did would be subject to their review. We need to get a few legal opinions from our city attorney for their review, and then we need a formal reapplication for the Part 139 certificate for our airport, which they communicated if you have an existing 139, it's generally a quick process. So, given the initial conversations with the airport authority board members, I think it'd be fair to say that they're a little lukewarm to the idea of going away from an airport authority model and then to a city department functioning airport at this time. Under the mayor and Commissioner Hash's leadership, the city is going to pursue a collaborative process where everybody can provide their thoughts, ideas, concerns, and preferences. But in the end, it'll eventually come time for a decision. So when that exactly is to be determined. Been having initial correspondence with the city attorney. and we'll get some formal city attorney opinions as to exactly kind of where decision-making authority lies. And we have a municipal authority, but we kind of fund it like it's a regional authority, but then we run it kind of like it's a city department as far as all of our administrative and finance process. So we got to really straighten those things out as to where we have current practices, but what we have legally structured, put in place, may be two entirely different things. So I'm gonna wait to get some clarity on that, and then again, one way or another, we're gonna try and pursue a consensus-driven solution, but that's still very much a work in progress. And sometimes if you can get that, you get 15, 16 people involved, and you can find that 65 to 75% consensus. We'll try the best that we can amongst everybody. Main purpose of the update is to assure you that we're not just sitting here admiring the problem. We're actively working in the 2 weeks between all these meetings. So taking our active steps on information gathering and diplomacy, we'll come to the county commission to provide updates, and whatever frequency you guys would like to get them, but it may be a little bit before we have actual content on this front. But we're here, and if you have questions, please reach out to the mayor, Commissioner Hash, myself, Chairman Frith, and we'll try and get those answers to you. So, Chairman Frith, members of the commission would welcome any questions you have. Just want to give you an update.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Halverson this morning? No. Thank you for the update.
Thanks, sir.
Appreciate it. Kevin, got a few minutes? You want to run through your stuff?
First of all, just an update on that hot mix overlay patch on Ramsey County 2. They did get that done for us where that dip in the road was by Elks Drive. So that's finished now. Any questions on that? Okay, and then we got the last culverts for this year's replacement projects from True North Steel. This one goes on Ramsey County 8 by David Lorenz. That invoice was $13,405.28. So I'd like to entertain a motion to pay True North Steel for that culvert.
I'd so move.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second to go ahead and pay True North Steel for the culvert in Ramsey County 8. That was the amount, $13,405.28. Roll call, please.
Gessner,
Aye.
Wilhelmie,
Aye.
Volk,
Aye.
Hodis,
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Okay, and then like most of you know, on even numbered years, the state asks for a road mileage certification from all the townships. So we sent letters out to all the townships to have them sign off on how many miles are in their township. And we have that all put together now for the state treasurer, but it requires a signature from the chairman. So I'd like to entertain a motion for the chairman to sign that road mileage certification form.
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and have the chairman sign the road mileage certification form. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, and then Nelson International and East Grand Forks figured out what was wrong with our big sand spreader. The part on the transmission solenoid was $23,000 itself.
2,300.
23. Thank you. $2,300 itself without the labor. And now we did get the final bill. We went and got it yesterday, so it's up back here. The final invoice is for $3,627.72. So I'm looking for a motion to pay Nelson International for the repairs to that sand truck.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. The amount again, Kevin, was
$3,627.72. That was labor and everything.
parts and labor for the truck to Nelson International in East Grand Forks. $3,627.72.
Correct.
Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call please. Are we paying this, correct?
Yes.
Roll call.
Gessner,
Aye.
Wilhelmie.
Aye.
Hodis,
Aye.
Bulk,
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
We did get the contract from the state for the grant that South Minnewacan got through the Township Assistance Program. And it required the signature from the chairman and the auditor. So looking for a motion to have the chairman and the auditor sign that Township Assistance Program agreement with South Minnewacan.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to have the chairman and auditor sign the agreement with South Minnewacan and the North Dakota Department of Transportation Township Assistance Program agreement. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And just to refresh your memory, that's that grant that we agreed to help sponsor. We're going to pay for the invoices, but then reimburse them through the state, and they'll reimburse that. A couple of things I had to add was the DOT has sent us an invoice for our share of the new box culvert that we put on Ramsey County 4 up by Edmore. The invoice is for $5,157.05. Looking for a motion to pay the DOT for our share of the bridge replacement.
I would so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to pay the invoice for our cost share with the DOT on the box culvert on Ramsey 4. Further discussion? And this is something we're paying, or?
Yeah, we're paying.
Okay,
Just got it.
roll call please.
Bulk.
Aye.
Gessner,
Aye.
Hodis,
Aye.
Wilhelmie.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
And just for information, there was no signature page on that bill invoice, so we don't have to have the signature on that. I think I put on everybody's desk this map of the projects we have going this summer. Did the same thing for you guys last year, but this is the one for 2024. 3 of the culvert sites are on big coulees, so we'll have to see what this water situation does with them, but the rest of them are just drainage culverts. I know it's kind of sudden, but any questions on that map?
Anybody have any questions on the map?
One thing I should add, the 2022 flood washouts, it's looking like they're going to be done in 2025, but we're still waiting for contracts for the state to get those moving. We're pushing for 24, but it's not looking good.
I got one for you quickly, Kevin.
Okay.
And that is the chip seal. That's from the rest area down to the bridge. Is that what you do there
No.
on the Woods Road? Isn't that what that is?
Yeah.
Mm.
The north side of the bridge, yes. Correct. And then Elks Drive is in there, Prairie Road, the asphalt part of Prairie Road. We probably won't have that culvert repaired on the Prairie Road yet, but
Do you have anything on what we're doing just to fix soft spots?
no, that's the only thing I didn't get on the map. We're still kind of looking to see what soft spots are going to show up yet this summer. With all the rain, it's been tough to pick out where the worst ones are going to be. It's going to be a few on 7 and a few on 4 north of 7, we know, but other than that,
We don't know where the rest will be. Be on the west end of 7.
Yeah, I did have a phone call from a concerned community member over on 7 about the condition of 7,
Mm-hmm.
about it being chuckly and concerned that the fixes that were done weren't quite good enough.
Yeah, it's typical. We try to get to the ends of them, but that's what's happening is it goes beyond where we quit. That's what's happening.
Yeah,
So
it's
then we
a
just
tough spot with all that water down there.
Yeah, there's sloughs on both sides.
Yeah. I did drive down there last Tuesday, and I thought for the most part the road looked pretty good.
Yeah, Blaine and I drove it too, so
We drove quite a bit of that area out there to
Yep.
look at some of the concerns and see what soft spots are there. Kevin was gonna.
they're much, much better than they used to be, but like you say, on the ends where we stopped and it extends a little bit. It's hard to find the ends of them
You
when
won't be
you're doing
far. Yeah, a couple spots there, but
it. Like you say, there's water in both ditches, so
Yeah, and as Jeff would know, water, underground water doesn't flow in a straight line. It can go up the side of a hill, and you never know which way it's going.
there was some question when I got a phone call as how they could maybe move some of that water, and I'll talk to you offline, Jeff, about that.
that's all I have. If there's anything else.
Fully staffed and everything is
Fully staffed again, yes. We had one quit, but we've replaced him. Of course, with all the rain, we're struggling to keep up with the blade in the roads. I mean, that's just a given. Guys are working Fridays and Saturdays, doing the best we can, but it rains on Fridays and Saturdays too.
Yep. Well, we appreciate all the work you guys are doing and the OT that you're putting in and trying to make things right. So keep up the good work.
Alrighty, thank you.
Kevin, I did have one more. I just thought of it. Been some phone calls from north of town too. What do we need to do to help inform township board members that they need to make some decisions on these roads?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's that one township you're thinking of may have a new township officer, so it'd be just a matter of educating him. But most of the township officers know how things work. I mean, it's the public that don't realize how the steps or how things should be reported. That's where we struggle with the private people. I don't know how, like, answer your question, I don't know. We've tried for years to, with social media now, it's really difficult because they just, talk freely.
Well, and everybody that I've noticed likes to send pictures, and theirs is worse than the next guy's. And like I've been telling some people, I don't know how you get out there when you get 7, 8 inches of rain in a month, and with the thaw, it's tough. It's not that we're not trying.
Right.
There's got to be some patience too. And I had a few discussions, and hopefully as you and I drove around and talked about it.
Yep.
After what was a really good winter, it's been a challenging spring.
Yes, it has. It's all the rain.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have 4 gravelled.
Yeah.
North or south.
Yeah.
That's it.
We pulled all the shoulders hard on 4, and of course the rain didn't help that a bit.
Yeah.
Over 9 inches of rain since the 16th of April. So it's been plenty. So, anything else for Kevin?
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just about time for the board equalization to get underway. So we need a motion to go ahead and adjourn the Ramsey County Commission and convene as the County Equalization Board.
Make a motion to adjourn and
Convene.
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second to go ahead and enter into the Board of Equalization. So we'll call that meeting to order. Recommended motions would be one to approve the city's assessments as presented, or
Yes. And Rob is here. Did you have anything you wanted to share, or if you have any questions for Rob prior to that?
good morning, Rob.
Good morning. I'll just, I got just a couple of quick points just to point out to you. It'll be real brief. The taxable value within the city of Devils Lake went up 9.2% from 2023. Most of the increases were on the commercial side. The commercial increases resulted in about a 12.57% increase in taxable value. And then the residential side was 7.02%. We did have 41 properties that we did have appealed to the City Board of Equalization. I met with all the property owners since that, and I believe that they've all been resolved. I did provide a list of those appeals to you, but I'm not expecting that there'll be any further appeals or they'll be following any more of that process. But they do have that option to come back to the board now and to continue that appeal process if they wish. But that's kind of just a brief look at where we're sitting in the city. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Johnson for the city evaluations?
so you're done with the evaluations or still process?
They're all done. So on my level, we're done.
Okay. The only reason I'm asking is because I get some questions is why did my taxes do this, and they get it mixed up between the city and the county, and I probably have sent a couple people to you and yourself for the fact is I don't have the correct answer and I want them to get the correct answer, so I tell them they got to talk to the individuals that are doing the assessing because I don't want to steer them down the wrong path.
Yeah, and that's where when you start talking about taxes and the valuations, 9.2% increase is kind of the waterline. That's the way that I would describe it. So if there is a property that's value went up less than 9.2%, their actual share of the burden is probably going to go down. But the increases are not equivalent to a tax increase.
Correct.
So.
Anybody have anything else for Rob? At this time, would there be appropriate to ask for any public comments on the city equalization? Hearing none, do we have a motion to accept the city assessments as presented?
I would so move to accept the city assessment.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the city assessments as presented. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item would be the townships contracted to the county for assessments.
And those, any values that changed over 10% or $3,000 true and full would be on pages 2 through 5 of your packet. We did meet with held township meetings and city meetings with all of the townships and cities that were contracted with in April.
Any public comments from anybody that had an assessment within the townships that are assessed by the contractor with the county? Hearing none, do we have a motion to accept the assessments as presented?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second to go ahead and approve the values of townships contracted to the county for assessments. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now for the values of townships that provide their own assessors.
We still have 2 assessors on board, and they do 5 townships and cities. I did notice that Mike Beamer came in today. He does Minnewacan and Stevens Township. Did you have anything you wanted to share today, or just so? There any changes that they had that were over 10% or 3,000 in trim full are also included on pages 2 through 5. And those assessors did hold their meetings with their cities and townships also.
Any public comment on the assessed values of the townships that provide their own assessors? Do we have a motion to approve the values of the townships that provide their own assessors?
I would so move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the values of townships that provide their own assessors. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Inundated land classifications.
And that's going to be page 6 of your packet. Each year, it's through the state of North Dakota. People are allowed to apply for any inundated land, and then we are able to adjust that accordingly. They create maps of their parcel and what may be inundated. All of them on here are previous people that have applied.
Motion to approve the inundated land classifications applications.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the inundated land classification list. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion for no change to agricultural values for 2024. Current percentage is 96%. And just a quick reminder, this is to stay within the 10% range for the state. And 96 is a good place to sit.
I'll make the motion for no change.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for no change in agricultural values for 2024. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, and then lastly in your packet, pages 7, I think it goes through 8, or 7 is your disabled veterans credit that is available. We also then on pages 8 and 9 are our homestead credits that have come in. That's increased, which is great this last year. Please remind people that it has opened it up to more people being able to qualify with a higher income level, and you can deduct your medical spending. There's no asset test, so you can own farmland. Sometimes that would throw out people, things of that nature.
Beth, I have a credit. I understand the disabled veteran, this homestead credit. How does that exactly work?
So that you're 65 years of age or older or permanently and totally disabled. And then it's income based. So $70,000 down to $40,000 in income receives a 50% credit, and 40,000 and less is 100% credit. But you can deduct medical spending from your income to lower your income or get to a greater credit. And there's a lot of different things that qualify
So-
under the medical.
The VA part of it, the state kicks back. So
Oh, for both of them, they're a credit from the state. Yep, the
that's
state
what I just
comes
wanted
back.
to
Yep, they're
understand.
not an exemption; they're a credit. So they're both a great program that everyone should apply for. That or come in and find out if they do qualify.
Thank you.
We went on to page.
Could you remind us when the deadlines to apply for those are?
Typically they've been February 1st, but I think there's some changes where they're going to March 31st because of taxes and that kind of thing. This last year they did extend it to March 31st for the homestead credit. So I believe going forward, we're willing to work with anybody if they come in anytime, and you know that we send through abatements if needed. If
So
we
you
can find.
provide the forms for that? Or-
We do provided it is available online also.
Okay, thank you.
Pages 12 and 13 are just the property tax exemptions available currently in Ramsey County who's been applying for them, typically churches, that type of place. 14 is just a past list of property tax exemptions for new or expanding businesses. We are down to just one now. The North Dakota Petroleum Equipment is still on, but this year we put Tronson Grain's previous one on, so they just aged out. It was a 5-year, and this is going on their 6th year. They did receive a notice of that increase.
So we just have the one. Like
We just have the one, yeah. These are just kind of a history of what's occurred. And then lastly is your farm residence exemption. These are the exemptions that we're still carrying for the farm residence exemption, and that is an exemption, not a credit.
All the exemptions and credits are just informational.
Yes.
No
No.
action required at this time. Anything further for the County Board of Equalization?
So I got a question, Beth.
Mhm.
The residentials, that was in this first few pages here that
Mhm.
where they went up just according to their normal process.
Yes.
So there's no blanket like on the ag.
Blanket increase, no.
Okay.
We reviewed 39 sales this year,
Okay.
and then updated our replacement costs and updated our depreciation.
Okay.
Just maybe a quick blip. Starting this week, we're getting our new manual from Vanguard. Our previous one was 2008. We're moving up to 2020, which is the most current. So they'll have our software this week, and that will make changes in replacement costs. A lot more things that we're able to use in valuing. An example would be currently garages. We can kind of just, what grade are they? They're a 4, they're 3, or they're 5. Now we can actually add for, some people have tongue and groove and tiling, and they kind of party spaces in their garages. So we have some more tools in our software that's coming up within this next year, which will be great because we're Eagle View, as you probably know, has completed their flight, and we'll be moving on with the Vanguard desk review this year.
All right. Anything else?
I do not.
Need a motion to close the Board of County Equalization meeting and reconvene as a county commission.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the county equalization meeting and reconvene as a Ramsey County Commission. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have it already gone? Oh, okay. Yeah, Ramsey County 4, they got that paved and striped. It's ready to complete the final records for that up by Edmore. And then Ramsey County 3, thin lift overlay, they haven't scheduled a pre-job for that yet, but Mayo said they'd be doing that between July 15th and August 15th of this year. And then I think Kevin mentioned it in his agenda, the 89th Avenue Northeast project from the rest area north up to County 2. I guess I've got the scope and fee and agreement together for that, and I'll have that for you at your next meeting. The state has to review it for their concurrence before you guys approve it, so I'll send it their way first. I think that's all I got.
Have you anything going on the Hagee Bridge again? We talked last time about either repairing or looking for a grant, and I think Kevin had mentioned you were going to check into that.
Yeah, I guess there isn't really any grants out there right now, and the state isn't soliciting for additional bridge projects currently because they're already backed out to like 2027 for construction funds at the moment. But we did, we looked at it a little bit, and I guess we can, I guess if we have some budget left at the end of the paving project, we could take a look at it a little more detail and see if there's anything simple that could be done to it to increase the capacity.
You weren't here, but I think the question is we don't want to stick a pile of money into it and then replace it 5 years down the road. Isn't that what we said before, Lee? We want to make sure that we do the smartest thing.
Right. Yeah, and it's in like a 98 condition rating. I mean, it's in good shape. It's just limited on what it can carry based on the design of it. So, I mean, I guess our thought was to just rerun the model and see if we could shorten the spans, and cost effectively to make it carry at least 40 tons. So it doesn't have to be posted. If you can't get to that, there's not really much point in working on it. So I agree with you there that it might only be able to get to 30 tons. I
just don't want to come down the road, we make it to 40 ton, and then 3 years later we're replacing it because it didn't work. And here we stick.
Yeah, we wouldn't have you improve it without getting to. We'd be able to do the calculations to see if we can get it to something reasonable. If we can't do that, there's no point working on it because it's in good shape.
So they're just the formulas for how a bridge is rated that changed at some point in time? Is that?
They're looking at it pretty conservatively. They're only using a certain width of the deck that is actually carrying the load because it doesn't have separate beams underneath it. And the spans are, I think, I can't remember what the lengths are, but I think they're 40 feet, so you'd be shortening it. The only way to increase the load rating within condition it's in is to shorten the spans.
Yeah, I was just curious why it was decreased when it was fine for so long. You say it's a 98 condition.
Yeah, I mean,
something's criteria changed or something.
I don't know. We didn't do the load ratings, so I can't speak to that really. I mean, there've been a lot of bridges that they've reviewed recently, and I think there's regions in the state that the state has put out to consultants, and different consultants look at it different, possibly. I don't know if this one has changed, but we've seen that in other areas too, across the state. There's been a bunch of them that were never posted, and now they are. Hardly any of them have gone the other way, but I think there's been a few of those that have happened too. But yeah, I guess our thought was just if we spend a few hours on it to figure out if it's possible to improve it to the point where we can take off the load posting, that's what we do.
Any other questions for Mr. Borington? Paul, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Sheriff Lang. Good morning.
I am here today to ask for approval to purchase 2 new watch guards for our in-car camera system. The issues we're running into is we're running the M400 series now. They discontinued as of tomorrow, and they will be not making any more parts for them. So we got one unit that is on its way out because it's not working properly. we're down one. So the new system, the software is already in place, so we didn't have to purchase that. The M500s are actually cheaper than the old ones that we were buying by about $200. So each unit costs about $7,318. I'm looking for approval for $14,636. I do have enough money in my budget to cover them, as we were already looking to replace one, and with some good luck and some breaks that we got, I was able to save enough money to cover the other one. These have become very vital in our work. They capture everything what the officers are doing outside their vehicles. They're very valuable in court, and in fact, they're requested.
So these are the ones that record as they go up to the vehicle, right?
Correct. They got the body camera, which is connected to this in-car.
That way when
And this, the in-car also records if you got somebody in the back of your car. It records what your prisoner is doing. These actually, the videos actually get requested way before reports do.
Are these replacements in new cars or replacing old systems in existing?
What we will do is put these two in the two new cars we're getting.
Okay.
And we should have enough left over and hope they stay together or piecemeal them together. I'm going to have to put it into the budget to replace one a year. Just another thing that we need to cycle out. These are encroaching 6-7 years old.
So these have been taken out of old
squad
cars before, and okay. 14,636.
Yes.
Make a motion to purchase the 2 new cameras.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and allow Sheriff's Department to purchase 2 in-car video systems. 14,636 is the budgeted or the quoted price. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I got one more that it came in. I don't know if it got to your packet or not, but Baycom Inc. Billed us $3,395 for 2 new computers. That'd be for the 2 new hires. They actually gave us a pretty good break on these 2 computers. Quite a bit less than the first ones we purchased through them. So I got that budgeted also in my budget, and I just need approval. It's over $2,500.
What was the cost?
It's $3,395. That's for the 2. I said I got a pretty good deal, and that came with stands and charge cards with them.
Are we paying that or just approve and purchase?
We'd be paying that.
Okay. We need a motion and a second to go ahead and approve those, and we'll do roll call following that.
Move. Second.
We have a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the invoice from Baycom for 2 new computers, $3,395. Further discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Hodis,
Aye.
Volk,
Aye.
Gessner,
Aye.
Wilhelmy,
Aye.
Britt.
Aye. Motion carries.
Just a little something on the K9. The gate still hasn't come in. They're anticipating anytime. The company says it should be shipped anytime, but it hasn't been yet. Just for the month of May, we had 51 deployments of our K9. 48 of them were on drug sniffs. Out of that, we had 25 indications. Out of them 25 indications, there were 7 seizures for some drug paraphernalia and 1 fentanyl paraphernalia. And on the drug side, we had 3 seizures for methamphetamine and 1 seizure for fentanyl. That's a pretty good average with dog doing drug sniff on just random stops. The other 3, that was on 48 deployments just for the drug sniffs. They had 3 deployments for tracks where officers got in the chase, people bail out and took off running. He was able to track 1 person down. The other 2, the environment changed, weather changed, and he was unable to continue. So he's been a very valuable asset to us, and I think we're going to see better results as it goes. So yes.
You guys been involved in the training out of camp for the dog?
This go around, we have not.
That's something in the future.
Yes.
I just asked because I've seen a lot of the other counties that do have dogs have been out there on the. I didn't see you guys, so I was just curious if you guys were.
We had some scheduling conflicts, is why we weren't out there this time. But he did participate in some of the certifications after.
Okay.
Anything else for?
And the only reason I asked is because it's local and it's
right here, yes,
effective.
Anything else for Sheriff Lang? Sheriff, anything else for us?
No, that'd be it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for you and your staff. Unfinished business. We have floodplain administration. I don't think there's been a whole lot of movement in that. I know state and FEMA are still working on that map and enhancements that they're doing, and I haven't heard anything else on that. Have you, Daniel?
No changes as far as our office is concerned regarding the DWR or FEMA's communications with the county. I think everybody's in a little bit of a holding pattern. FEMA and the state have seen that we're doing a lot of work to get the situation sorted out, and so it seems like they've stepped back. They're not as aggressive as they were from December into the beginning of this year. So I think they're letting us kind of work through our process, and if anything changes, we'll certainly let you know if you don't find out first. But we're still looking to move forward on those things. That's a cooperation between multiple different political subdivisions and just agent or offices within the county. So it's a lot of moving parts, but we're still working on it.
Anybody else have anything on floodplain administration? Moving on to the building committee. Everybody had an opportunity to go visit the various departments within the courthouse. I've taken some time to look around, and I think Daniel's done some homework on what materials need to be archived, what documents need to be saved on premise, and what doesn't necessarily need to be here, and what departments we're required to provide space for. Correct?
That is correct. Just a brief overview. The county isn't required to keep any files, any offices within the courthouse itself. It's just required to provide the space. So if it's in the courthouse, it's great. If it's in another county building or renting somewhere, as long as the space is provided by the county itself instead of the offices or the individuals, that's all that's required. As far as files and file retention or record retention, there's similarly no requirement that they be held in the courthouse. There are some more specific situations like the recorder's office. Those things should probably be kept all in one spot here, very accessible in case people come to the building just for practical purposes. They may have to pull something that's 100 years old at any given time. But the treasurer's office, the auditor's office, the county superintendent, those files don't necessarily have to be stored in these offices. They could go down to a basement if there's space for that somewhere, so that actual office space could be made up, or if the county decided to try and rent office space somewhere in town, they can make that decision. And one of the offices could be somewhere else that makes more sense. But that's where I'm at this point. There's still more digging to do just to make sure that there aren't some less known requirements out there. I've reached out to the Department of Public Education.
So the files got to be kept forever.
So some do. Like for the county superintendent, transcripts and diplomas are forever documents. There's a question of if somebody dies, do they really still need to keep those? But as far as the statute is concerned, those are documents that have to be stored forever. The recorders, go ahead.
So can they be archived then, like on digits, or you got to keep the paper?
You could archive them.
I'm just looking in say you go 200 years down the road,
right?
This big room full of documents. You can put it on these wonderful computers. Is it something we could do and you have a backup and then you could shred the stuff? That's just a question I asked so that you don't. How many buildings do you want to have over time?
As far as I'm concerned, in my reading of the code, there's no distinction between physical and digital copies. So reducing those down to digital and then having a destruction date after that, just to make sure that nobody wants the physical copies later on, I don't see that as an issue with record retention, especially as it regards to non-recording office documents. Those can't be digitized. I think we had that conversation last meeting that those original title documents are kind of important to how title transfers and everything like that.
And I guess the only reason I'm asking is we have all these paper copies that we're getting from the school, right? Computer's been around for 25 years. I'm just surprised that this stuff wasn't archived so that this doesn't happen if someone else closes up. It's like, why isn't this stuff being compressed to reality of the way the world is going?
I can't speak to how those school districts run themselves. Maybe the Edmore business administrator and the superintendent who are staying on for the rest of the 2024-25 school year could make some dent in that, or hire somebody to do some of that work. But unfortunately, I think that may fall on the county to take care of, as we're kind of cleaning up our records that we have around the building. And so I haven't dug too far into the auditor's office or the treasurer's office as far as what records need to be held on site or even forever, essentially. But that's next on my list. But even still, I mean, utilizing some of the various spaces, such as the armory, to move all of the cabinets that are just storing files that nobody's looked at in years, there's no issues with that as far as the code is concerned. Any other questions?
Anybody have anything for Daniel? Anybody have any recommendations on directions we want to go with this?
How long do we have for the digitizing that we're doing now? How close are we to being done with that?
With the recorder's office?
With the recorder's
office. I can't remember how far back they were.
I think they were quite a ways.
I know they're a long ways back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was going to be another year, and they were going to bring that to the budget again,
Right.
I would imagine if they have intentions of continuing that. Yeah.
Here's the reason I'm asking is if that's not gonna, it's not gonna be free. So,
Oh, right.
once we get the recorder's office done, then maybe we need to formulate a plan that whatever is the next, if it's the superintendent's where we can digitize those, and if that's the biggest volume and would free up the most space,
Something to look at in the future.
Right.
I mean, I think the recorder office, what we've done down there has been money well spent.
Right. But to what you're asking is why,
And I understand. It's just,
it hasn't come up before. So, but if in a time when money's going to be tight, don't want to add, in my mind anyway. We've got one project in the works right now, and I think if you do it, I don't want to say department by department, but figure out where the next money that would be well spent, if it's the superintendent with the school records or something with the auditor's office or the treasurer's office that would free up space, and that's, something that should be considered.
Is there filing system set up for that, or the other people are using? Because like the recorder's office, you're using InGram, which makes sense for pretty much all their records, I would think. But as far as the school stuff, I don't know.
Yeah,
there's got to be somebody that's doing that, I would think. Yeah, in some organized fashion.
I don't know if that's something that's within DPI or where that's at, but something to look at down the road. I'd hate to have this giant building filled up with boxes of paper,
right,
and not people. And it's a lot. I think it'd be more economically feasible down the road to move documents instead of renting office space for additional county offices. I noticed that there's a couple of departments that are really impacted with employees and lack of square footage per those employees. State's attorney's office would be one of them. They're very tight up there. Social services is certainly tight. Even though they may have some open office spaces, they have vacancies that if those vacancies are filled and they continue to have those applications out there, where would they put those individuals? And public health and extension are crammed in those offices as well. So other than hiring a engineer or an architect or something like that to redesign our office spaces, I think moving boxes of paper would be better suited for short term anyway. So, and whether that be boxes in our basement or boxes somewhere else, somewhere that's, we know that the documents would not be damaged or destroyed or something like that, although I don't think any area is 100% foolproof, but which direction do we want to go with this? Continue moving down the road, or
I think we should figure. I mean, if the school records are the immediate issue, do we have the superintendent see if we, who can digitize this stuff, find someone to.
Regarding the Edmore documents that are going to be coming in, I did talk to Miss Deseth, and she indicated that she only thought it would be anywhere between, I think she said 5 to 8 big cabinets full of documents. She has had communication. She has talked to DPI about what exactly needs to be retained for just record keeping purposes. I think she has an idea of what she's going to do with those documents and how she's going to possibly cull through them. So I don't know that it is something that needs to be taken care of at this time. Just for the board's edification, the Edmore dissolution plan has not been approved by the state board yet, so that's not even imminent at this point. Once that happens, maybe it will become more time pressing, just to make sure that we're prepared to take in those documents. But at the moment, I don't think those documents are really super pressing on the county. So I don't know that something needs to be done at this time.
Well, I'm pretty sure that no major remodeling has been budgeted in this year's budget, so this would be something for next year's budget if there's any significant remodeling within our facility here. And I think once you start putting up, whether it be walls or partitions or what have you, putting up additional walls isn't as big of a deal as tearing existing walls and doorways out, because every wall in here and every floor is asbestos encased, so you'd have to get
approval because of structure also.
right. So but certainly, times change. Employees have changed needs and requirements, and workspace has been adjusted. Certainly from the time that this building was designed and constructed in 1959, we don't operate under the same set of principles as we did back then. So,
well, maybe moving forward, whatever can be digitized, maybe we should just do that now, moving forward, so we're not building the paper volume that we are, if there's something that we can implement, so we're not creating more of the problem while we're trying to fix the problem.
And like I was saying, maybe the school system was digitizing. It's just the old stuff. I mean,
Right.
They've been there for a long time. It's not maybe that they haven't.
Right.
Maybe
But I mean,
there is 20 years that are digitized, and it's the other 70 that is not.
right.
But I mean, as far as, the auditor's office or, whatever it can be, whatever county entities that can, start digitizing, so we're not adding to that problem. Maybe that we should be looking at that too.
Maybe some already are.
Well, yeah. But I mean, push it to
The next envelope.
right. Yeah. Maybe some of the stuff that they're, well, it's just easier to keep the paper right now. But if it was digitized, would alleviate adding to the problem.
I
And
know the tax books that we used to run, they're still ran, but they're on the server. So, I mean, the information is there. It's just,
Oh,
not at, yeah. Oh, it's more than that. Yeah.
and like Lee's saying, I think we're setting ourselves up for the future.
Mhm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
you bring in younger folks like yourself, you're probably not doing paper,
as much as I can avoid it.
you know.
Just to Commissioner Gesner's suggestion, I think it would make everybody exceptionally nervous to be digitizing and not retaining those files as they come in, but setting ourselves up for the future
That's what
yeah.
I'm not saying just slam the door and start digitizing, but,
Save time in the future in 5 years.
pick out, okay, we can digitize this and make us less uncomfortable, and then the next whatever step would be,
Yeah.
Ease into it.
Right, because you've always got that legal question in your mind, this can be digitized, but there's also the ingrained portion of, right, because I read this online too, but I still want to have it so I can look at, I don't like being connected to that thing.
Mm-hmm. But there are certain things that
We'll never be able to be digitized, I'm sure.
Not 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're at least going to have a physical copy retained somewhere.
Yeah.
Even if it is digital.
Yep.
Right.
I know that each year we get like I think it comes from the state that we get a record retention
Yeah,
update of, how many years, what can be, we've kept on top of that pretty good. It's just the really old books is I won't part with.
Well, and some of those old files too is so valuable. When we're going through the looking at changes in the airport, I went to Candy and said, "Hey, do you have a file in the airport?" Knew exactly where it was and all the documents that were in it, and going back to the early '70s. Same way with the stuff from the law enforcement center years past. We've asked for those, and boom, here's the folder. This is what's in it. This is the discussion, and very beneficial. If you digitize things, great. Knowing how to catalog those and be able to have that retention and be able to pull those documents up is another thing. Is coming up with a proper way to. You almost need somebody with a library degree or something to be able to. Yep, exactly. So, but good discussion. Not ready to move offices yet. So, or people. I think challenges we certainly need to look at if we're going to keep that number of staff up in the state's attorney's office. They're sitting on top of each other, and some people are working from home one week, some people are working in the office one week, and they rotate that. Daniel's between down here in the auditor's office and upstairs, and different things like that. That they're standing on top of each other up in that office, and they need some additional space up there. I think Bo's worked out a pretty decent plan. It makes a lot of sense. Just a matter of getting everybody else on board with it and finding the right funds to do it and the right plans, to come up with. So I think those are workable changes. I think storage of documents, we'll find some space and continue to work on the digitization process and what we can archive digitally and what we need to retain hard copy, and find a way to work everything out. Anything else on the building committee? Did you want to get together with individual buildings or departments or anybody you want to take a look at?
I mean, I guess as long as if everybody's happy with what's working now, I know this was just a thing that was brought to me, so I figured I'd bring it here.
Yep.
If there's a plan for everything and everyone's happy, because this has the potential to make a lot of unhappy people. So.
Okay. Discussion on 2025 budgets. Right around the corner. Things that we can't put off is our budgets moving forward. So, directions from departments. Do we want to give everybody a 20% reduction in equipment, overall budgets? Or do we want to? I do know departments will start in July. We'll start coming in with political subs and departments, and August is the time frame for the preliminary approval of the budget, because the estimated tax statements go out end of August. So it's something that can't be delayed. I think the state has put together some timelines that we have to follow. So, Candy, anything you want to put forth as far as budgets?
Thoughts as far as wages is probably the biggest question that I'm getting. If you're wanting to do, a step within the new system that we went with last year, cost of living. I had Brian try to find an estimate. Less food and energy. So it's probably around 4%, which isn't much, but that's his graph that he
4% cost of living is what you're talking about. That's the same as last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the chart's kind of all over the place for the last 3 years. I just need direction as far as what to tell those department heads or the information to provide them. Okay. Yeah. I was going to say we can wait until the next meeting. I mean, I can get the paperwork.
Well, they should be able to put everything together.
Yep.
Besides if what we decide on cost of living,
Yep.
correct?
Yeah.
At least break down there like they do before.
Yep. Just to get them going on it and, you know, not waiting until the last minute. So, something to think about for the next meeting.
Happiest time of year. Budgets.
I gotta make it through election first.
Gotta get back to that. You know, a little bit of time in between. We'll keep piling on. So anybody have any thoughts on budgets, guidance that we want to direct departments towards? Any major expenses?
And do you want something sent to you with numbers
I think that's
before the next meeting?
could we get something that would look at 3%, 4% raise on cost of living, and a step and not a step.
Okay.
I think that would be a good start, an appropriate place to begin.
I'd like to see what the century code that we have to budget and what century code is not to have to budget through the courthouse. Like, I know your century code is definitely, it's in century code, but I'm talking like, I don't want to see a whole bunch of outside entities coming and asking for money when it could cost our employees here at the courthouse a cost of living raise. You know, I think we need to take care of our employees here first before we go out and budget other things. Because essentially we can't operate here if we don't take care of our employees. You know, and I think I feel we should be looking at that first. But that's my opinion.
No, I agree with that. I'd like to see what all is, required by the law, and then whoever's been getting money or is asking for money that's not required by law, have that separation also.
And I think
you can evaluate. I mean, you do.
And you probably do that already. It's probably I'm not reading it correctly. Because you have it broke down pretty good. It's just to make sure that I'm looking at it correctly.
Yep.
And
I can, I'll put that on my list.
Because I think the question has been asked, and just so that we're all on the same page.
Was it the Department of Tax or OMB that has that mill levy limitation guideline? It's a publication.
Yeah.
It's
That's like
that is all the statutory obligations for city, counties, governments.
I guess something that if the departments are looking at what is a need and what is a want, like what is absolutely to run that department, you have to have. There's not any really wiggle room, and then what is a want, and that so that we can look at that, and then if there is something that we have to cut because the budget's just out of reach, we can say, okay, each department has this much as a want, and I don't want to punish any department single out, but is it someone can give up something on a want, because we all have something that's nice to have, but there's always that need that you just can't give up. There's just no way, you know. And obviously we have things that come up. I mean, we're seeing that with Sheriff Lang. You wanted one camera, and now all of a sudden you need two. I mean, I get that. I understand. You're going to have those outcomes in every department. You know, it's going to happen. Those are the tough ones when you have to come up with money that we didn't budget for.
Usually things within my office I give as a hand me down to,
And I get that.
you know, to those offices that, you know, I mean, the state's attorney's office, I mean, they needed, what do we give? Laptops. Yeah. So I just told Steve, I said, oh, okay, this will be my third laptop. I was like, well, we'll just upgrade again. You know, so we've swapped out monitors and, you know,
and
different things of a different.
And change costs money. I mean, no matter how you look at it, it just.
Yep.
It's a revolution of change.
Yep. Yeah. And I think everybody has, you know, they keep the dollar sign in mind, you know, and not, you know, full extravagant of everything.
I guess
all right. Anything else? Any other unfinished business? New business, approval of special event permit. This is for the rodeo, I believe.
Move the approve. Yeah, I believe it is.
It's for the rodeo dance at Hobbs.
Yep.
A second.
Motion and a second to approve the special event permit. Further discussion?
Question. Are the premises within the limits of an incorporated city wasn't answered? Is that completed form or no?
What's out at the Ramsey County Event Center, isn't it? So it's.
But it wasn't answered, so we're still okay to approve that?
Yeah, it's
June 28th.
Well, it's a rodeo club dance. It's not actually a rodeo, right?
Yeah.
right.
And then my VA abatement got put under old business and it should be new. I typed with one eye when I was still here.
So we have a motion and a second on the special event permit, correct?
Yep.
Okay, further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. VA abatement.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the VA abatement. Further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any other items under new business? None. Visitors and delegations. Dan, come on up. State your name.
Yeah, Dan Webster. I guess I'd like to ask what the status of the letter that Mr. Hoisted submitted several months ago, which you guys, I think, unanimously approved to pass it on to the Attorney General to ask some questions about inundated farmland and sovereign land issues and all those questions. And I guess I was wondering what the status is. Haven't heard anything. You know, this has been going on for a long time, and generations are going by. People are dying off. People that live out there in the western county. This is the whole western side of the county. So we need some answers. I've got 1,000 acres. I haven't been able to see for 25 years. I don't want to pass it on to my next generation. The state says I don't own it. So what do I do with it? How do I sell it something I don't own? And who do I sell it to? And as the county, I mean, these are issues that are important to the county. I mean, it's tax. It's you got tax consequences. I mean, you took the taxes off all those thousands of acres out there, shifted the burden to other people that had land. You got roads out there that are, I mean, I got fishermen every day launching off your county road out there. Now, who's responsible if someone gets hurt out there? Are you guys responsible? They get off on the county road, go on my land, go around, and then they get up to Lake Irvin. That's how they get up to Lake Irvin. So, I mean, these are all questions that need to be answered. And we'd like to, for the county, this body to help us with that. You guys have a lot of pull on that. And we need your help. So I guess I was just wondering what the status is.
I was not here when. My name is Daniel Howell. I'm an assistant state's attorney with Ramsey County. I was just brought on board here in January. I understand that Hoistad letter and discussion was had sometime in November, December of last year. That is something that I've worked on and that Mr. Cummings is continuing to work on as we handle everything else that our office does on a daily basis. What I can say is I do have an understanding, limited as it may be in comparison to yours and the rest of the landowners on the west side of the county, of what those issues are. And we will submit that opinion request from the Attorney General's office. I wanted to temper some expectations. Even if the Attorney General gives some sort of definitive opinion, I'm not sure what exact consequence that will have for what we can actually do here in Ramsey County. Attorney General opinions are generally for guidance and interpreting the law. They don't really make new decisions or determine how counties are able to administer themselves. It's more of, if we ask a question that brings up some sort of inconsistency or hole in the law, they kind of agree or they make some recommendation on how to deal with the subject. But I don't disagree that asking the question needs to be done, and that it will likely get the ball rolling in a couple different courts, potentially in some state courts as well. But that is something that's in progress, and I know Commissioner Gesner follows up with Mr. Cummings on a regular basis to make sure that that work is continued to get done. And I believe we are close, but if it makes more sense, since I'm not the state's attorney, I don't have the ability to submit those. That would be a question for Mr. Cummings, and he will be either at the next commission meeting as we get into budget season, but also his contact information is online if you would like to reach out and have a conversation with him specifically. But Commissioner Gesner is keeping a close eye on that and following up on a regular basis. And we're all working very hard on that letter and the rest of our responsibilities.
Well, I appreciate that. So, are you saying that we need to come to the next county meeting and ask Mr. Cummings to, or I mean, it sounds like it's still in the system, but I mean, it's going on 6 months.
It is, and I don't disagree that is longer than what may have been hoped at the time. Water law, as you are all very aware, is a complicated issue that some state entities are saying one thing and other state entities are saying other things, and we're having to sort out what not only North Dakota law is, but federal law going back to, the revolution itself, but the founding of North Dakota and how those different water rights affect us today. Some people out on the west side of the county have patents, some don't, some have different forms of ownership, and so balancing those and figuring out what the correct questions to ask in light of North Dakota law and federal law is quite a bit to pick apart, but it is not something that we take lightly, and we just want to make sure we're getting the right questions asked to get the right answers that we need, that the county needs.
Well, I guess that's all we can ask. I mean, I appreciate that.
Do you think that if you talk to Bo and see if you guys can maybe set yourself some kind of, not deadline, but give yourself a goal, and keep it. I know how deep the pile gets. You keep moving it back up to closer to the top of the list.
I can certainly sit down with Mr. Cummings, and we will send you an email, Commissioner Gesner, just to make sure that you have an idea of when that goal may be, and if you can pass that on. Yep. I know that you have many conversations with landowners who've.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So
absolutely,
I understand. With if you got the sheriff arresting people with drug seizures because of the law, I realize how busy you guys are, and
K9's doing too good of a job.
And I realize that it is a complicated issue, but I appreciate if you guys could get some kind of.
Yeah, it's not an unreasonable ask at all.
Right. Thank you.
Is there anything that we, as a group out there, is there anything that we should be doing that would help the situation? I mean, we're like I said before, we're dying off. We're leaving. It's kind of sad. Someone dies and it gets handed to the next generation, and they don't live here probably, and they inherit this land, and then you tell them that, well, yeah, it's been in your family for 100 and some years, but you don't own it because it's underwater. Well, what happens then, when it comes out? I mean, these are all questions that need to be answered for us poor people out there. And I appreciate your efforts. And I hope, if there's something else that we can do, but if it's moving along, I guess that's all we can ask. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate the commission taking it up. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you. Mr. Schneider.
Yes, my name is Larry Schneider, and I guess I'm kind of complaining because we don't have enough supervision out in our area. I live on 26th Street Southwest,
and we've got these young people driving 4-wheelers, 2-wheelers, and everything going up and down the dike and up and down my road. Our road was open to public traffic because of WW withholding, and people are coming through there. Most of them are pretty good. I've got slow signs by my house, and of course, if the wind was from the south and it's dusty, all that dust gets into my yard. But we've got a lot of young people that are driving up and down the dike, doing wheelies, and then I was talking to one of my neighbors, Dave Brewstead. He was saying there was some kids were driving up on a ditch on County 2050 or Highway 2057, and one of them tipped over. And he laid there for quite a while, and by the time Dave was going to go help him, he got up and rode off. But we have to have some supervision out there, and I don't know, and maybe the sheriff can tell me, do these kids need driver's license to drive those 4-wheelers and 2-wheelers up and down the roads? Okay, what can we do to control the speeds that they drive? And why can they drive in the ditches on County 1? You drive up and down there, you can see 4-wheeler tracks up there. And why can they drive on that and do all this stuff and raise hell and nothing gets done about it? I know you can't be out there all the time. And I understand that because I complained a couple of years ago when there was a deputy I knew, and he sat there for a couple of days. Of course, they're never there when the deputies are out there. And I'm sitting in my house, and all of a sudden I hear the roar, and they're coming up my road. And by the time I get out of the house, they're going the other way because they see me coming out of my house. They're going the other way. They were coming on the dike one day, and I was in my yard. And I get off my chair and I walk to the road, and they turn around and go back the way. You know, I don't know. It's kind of a safety issue because some of these kids are crazy. You know, they're going up and down the roads. I mean, it's not only by my house. You know, I talk to people all the way from County 1 to Garrison or Camp Grafton and all the way to the lake. There's kids driving up and down those roads, and it's crazy. One person told me the deputy or sheriff stopped one young lady that a 2-year-old was driving a 4-wheeler or a golf cart, and there had an older sibling in the golf cart. So he made her get out of the passenger seat and drive home. And I'm sorry, that's stupid. We're really having a problem with entitled kids here. You know, everybody said, well, when we were kids, did you do that? And I said, we didn't have those vehicles at that time. So it's one of those situations that we have to do something. Maybe we have to find a place where these kids can raise hell and not get in trouble. You know, down in Grand Forks, you go to Grand Forks, you see those bumpy hills and roads out there. Maybe we need something out to keep them off the roads. We got to do something because pretty soon one of those kids are going to get hurt.
Well, as far as being on the dike, I don't think they're supposed to be on the dike.
Well, it's illegal. There's signs, but I don't think the kids can read.
Well, I mean, as far as
well, there's some of that. Because, you know,
but I mean, as far
I live right there, and there's top level, and you got the dike, and then you got the platform, and then you got the rock, and there's a place down there. I drive on that every once in a while, but I'm not doing 60 miles an hour. I'm running my dog at 5 or 6 miles an hour. And this last night, the young man was coming up that same place, and I was in my garden. I happened to yell at him, and he stopped. And I said, "Well," and I talked to him. I said, "You drive up and down the bone now?" I mean, he said, "Well, this is the first time I rode my vehicle." Oh yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah. And he says, "No, I don't go up and down the dikes, but there's another vehicle that does do that." And I knew it was a black and red one. And I said, "I don't know what we can do. I know the sheriff can't do anything, but it's ridiculous what's happening. You know, we've got a bunch of entitled brats out there that don't listen. And the problem is, we got parents that are never home because they can't see the kids doing it. And I can't catch him. By the time I followed one kid, and he disappeared before I got out of my vehicle. They just go to beat hell. I'm sorry. That's all I got.
Well, as far as setting speed limits, I think the township has to set a speed limit for the whole township. We did that in Cooley Township. And then you can specify road for a lesser speed limit. Does that come out anywhere cognitively? Because we had to do that in Ramsey County. So there is a way to set speed limits in the township. I think there is a way to set a speed limit in the township.
Well, yeah, I put a speed limit sign up there one time, and I don't think it's the people that are going through
Right.
And right now, they're going to pocket for money pocket. And I used to dig, run and drag over it and just try to think, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't pocket either. I'm tempted to take more pocket.
Well, two wrongs don't make a right. But, but I mean, I think there is a way the township can officially put a speed limit there, and if they're on the dike, that is against the law.
I'm pretty sure there's a no trespassing, no motor vehicle.
Right. I mean,
sign
that's
up on top of the dikes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No motorized vehicles allowed, kind of thing, on top of the dike.
But if that's
well, even if they're riding top of the dike, I really have no problem with that. It's going up and down the sides. And well, there's one time in the spring, one guy comes out to me, he stops at me at the light for that. Kicks it out and does a wheel. Goes about 20 yards, stops, does a wheel again. He did that 6 times. Going down there. And
yeah.
And by the time I got out of my house, it's too late.
Yeah.
And I know that last year, they got Mark. Yeah, poster, speed limit sign. He put that by my house. Rocky. And that worked for a while. But he's got to move that around the county in that district over there.
Have you talked to the township officials? Okay. Oh, they can. Yeah.
Well, I disagree with that.
Oh.
But since the sheriff's sitting here, I'll ask the sheriff, is that you make it a point that your deputies get over there a little more often? I mean, obviously you've got your patrol area, but it's close enough to town where they could swing over that way occasionally and on their way. Right. But I mean, yeah. Right.
Right now,
it's anytime. Yeah. Right.
I don't know. I'm kids to talk to. And they reply, they slow down. But I can't get you talking to kids.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you helping me.
No.
Because it's a public safety.
Yeah.
Come up on Highway 2057, and it's been out.
Yep.
We certainly don't want to see anybody hurt and killed or injured, and
I don't like
make sure that we make appropriate precautions and just remind people and parents and be watchful for their kids and make sure they're responsible for their actions. Yep.
Very good.
Rules and regulations on off-road vehicles.
Yeah, they have a defunct newspaper that doesn't get read anymore. And the only people people listen to the radio.
Yep.
And I never even have the radio on at the right time. So
We could maybe work something up between Sheriff's Department and our state's attorney, making sure that all the rules and regulations, laws are being followed, what they specifically are, and maybe we can get that either published in the paper, published on the radio's website, and put it on our social media and our websites as well. Just as a reminder of, this is what's allowed and not allowed. This is what's in violation of law, and just to be mindful of it. And these are some of the penalties that go along with it.
Well, if they can't abide by it, we need to enforce the penalties, because some people are just stubborn, don't want to. I mean, if I drive through a stop sign and I get a ticket, well, I deserve that ticket because I drove through the stop sign. If they're not supposed to have motor vehicles on the dike, let's be realistic. If it's the law, if it's a $500 fine, I don't know what it is, give them the fine, because that's going to be the best word. somebody drives through that stop sign 3 times, they're gonna be like, well, hey, the cop sits there, so better not drive through that stop sign. Hey, sometimes school hard knocks. I mean, that's not what we want, but
maybe include it within that the age guidelines for young children on operating motor vehicles, whether they be golf carts, ATVs, dirt bikes, what have you.
Yep.
And those kind of things.
And I agree with you, Jeff. Let's put the warning out there, and if they can't take the warning within reason, well, then that's when we have to push.
Well, that'd be perfect.
Thanks, Butch. Have a good night.
Thanks,
Yep.
Larry.
Thank you, Larry. Portfolios. Commissioner Volk, anything?
I guess the lake access met the other day. The only thing we had was everything's in full realm as far as the access. We lost our Gopher Sanitation sold out, so we're re-looking that to make sure that we're doing properly with the new, if the guy can take the contract or not. So that's something we're looking into. But other than that, I haven't met with any other of my portfolios. They'll be coming up here. That's all I got, Jeff.
Commissioner Hodis?
I met with the portfolios this last week through a tractor. Sometimes I had service, sometimes I didn't. So I have nothing to respond with.
Were you able to stay out of all the areas?
No.
I know one of the days that I called you, you got a little excited every once in a while because of those low water areas.
Spinning through.
Yep. Oh, it's a challenge. So, thank you. Commissioner Wilhelmy.
I have nothing at this time.
Okay. Commissioner Gessner.
No, I don't have anything right now either.
Okay. One thing I wanted to bring up is Roger Gunderson asked me about getting some paneling for the sheriff's house. He said he checked with both in-store or in-town lumber yards. Neither one of them carried. They were able to get the paneling that would match. He would like permission to go to Grand Forks to be able to get that. And I thought that would be within reason. Making sure that those panelings all match with what's currently in there. And so he just wanted me to bring you up to date on that. I saw in the bills that some of the bills are coming in for the sheriff's house repairs from the water damage. I think there was a bill from Service Master. And there was one from Johnson Controls for the heater, and I think there was another one in there as well for some other materials. Max Plumbing.
So are these items covered under your insurance, or we haven't?
Well,
they've been submitted.
Yeah.
I believe one part of Service Master is not covered, but it was like a couple $100. Otherwise, everything has. When a bill comes in, Jackie sends it to the gentleman for him to review before we.
So did the adjuster actually come out?
Yes.
Yep.
Twice. Yeah.
I'm just looking at the panel. The paneling doesn't match. If you can't get the paneling to match, it's no different than shingles on a roof. You can't get them to match, and you got to go with a whole new look. Well, the insurance adjuster needs to come back and verify that so he can redo all the paneling, because if you can't find it, you don't just cobble it together and then not be insured next time.
Well,
Roger
talked to me out in the lobby here. Sounded like he found that there is something in Menards that will work.
Right.
He just wanted to make sure that I don't know if we need a motion that he can go out of town, but he just wanted it known that he was gonna have to go out of town
Okay.
to find the.
Which makes sense. I mean, if it's matchable, why wouldn't you?
And I think he did mention that the water was back up and operational and
He did mention that this morning.
yeah, so things should be moving along good in the sheriff's house. I think that's about it. Airport Authority will meet next Monday. LEC will meet on the morning of the 19th. And meet again on the evening of the 18th. So hopefully things dry out for us. Anything else?